Greetings, listeners. I am the mighty master Voluminous, teacher, commentator, and most importantly to you, storyteller. Now I know you've been hungering for another episode of Voluminous Reads. So have I. So much so that we are going to be returning to a weekly program from the 24th of October. And you need to make sure that you tune in on October 31st for a special episode. We're going to learn about a very, very sinister place. Now, where were we? Yes. Last week we read chapter 2. Last episode. We read chapter 2 of Rufus the Clown. In that chapter, Rufus stopped a liquor store robbery by getting the robbers high, if you know what I mean. Well, this episode, he's going to be dealing with a purse snatcher. I do hope you enjoy.
If you seek an audience with the master, go to the link in the description for all forms of communication. Thank you.
Chapter 3. Watch Your Step. An elderly woman walks down the street. She keeps her eyes front, making sure not to look as nervous as she feels. Unfortunately, this has the opposite effect. A man in a dark gray hooded jacket watches her from a distance, matching her steps quietly while he slowly closes the distance between them, watching her movements like a predator. At about 3 meters, he prepares to run at her, walking while keeping primed. She stops to check for something in her bag, at which point he makes a mad dash. She reacts a second too late. He knocks her to the ground, picks up the bag, and hightails it.
Help! Someone! Call the police!
The robber turns a corner and trips on a puddle, landing face first on the ground. He lifts his head to see a pair of gesture shoes, with a blue-gloved hand picking up the handbag, and another clutching the back of his jacket and picking him off the ground. He watches as he is carried back to where the old woman was standing. Good evening, ma'am. I believe that this is yours.
Oh, thank you, young man. Oh, my.
No need. The pleasure is mine. Now, if you would be so kind as to inform the police.
Right.
She digs into her bag for her phone as Rufus puts the robber down. The robber immediately gets up to run away. Rufus pulls out a large spray bottle and aims it at the ground before the robber's feet. He trips as he did before. The old woman immediately calls the police as Rufus helps the man up, guides him back to where he was sitting, and sits him down again. It would be better for you to cooperate, my good man, Rufus says with a friendly smile, sitting next to him with a hand on his shoulder. The robber sighs and looks down. Rufus pats him on the back. No need to be so blue, chum. Take this as a learning experience. The police arrive half an hour later and take the man in. This woman needs help getting home safely, officers. He turns to the woman. I wish you a good night, ma'am.
Yes. And to you, young man. Good luck with your, act.
He scratches his head at her words as she gives her statement and is escorted away by one of the officers. His partner addresses the clown.
Excuse me, sir. We've been told to be on the lookout for a man matching your description. Can I see some ID?
Rufus slaps his forehead. Oh, how rude of me. Here you go, my card. The card shows a picture of Rufus with his tongue out. TTFN is written next to it in big bold letters. The officer looks up to see him gone. She hastily looks around. A tiny car leaves the scene. Apologies, officer. I know you're just doing your job, but there's still work to do. I suppose exchanging pleasantries isn't an option. I said that I hated clowns and that they were the spawn of Satan, and they are. But this guy's kind of warming up to me just a little bit, I just love that he has this facade of being so nice and friendly and kind, but he's also a troll. I do love that. I do love that he's so mischievous. And the poor officer, she has to explain to her superiors now that she lost a man who was standing right in front of her. Oh well. You know who I always feel awful for in a lot of these superhero shows and stories? The police. They're either portrayed to be useless or incompetent, or oftentimes, and even when they are doing their best, they literally cannot do a damn thing about it because, they're dealing with gods. Something to think about. I know some of us have our negative opinions of the police, but always keep an eye out for the good ones. They're there, and they do outnumber the awful ones. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're awful. Maybe they are incompetent. Who knows? That's for you to decide. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Goodbye. Oh, and since the chapter was very short, and I am feeling extremely generous, stay tuned for a bonus chapter where you will get to see chapter 4, in which Rufus deals with a couple youths who decided they want to turn the city into their own canvas. Until next time, listeners, I am the mighty Master Voluminous.